Okay, our prophecy update. Kim Yo Young. You know who that is? Kim Yo Young. She is Kim Jong-un's sister. She's called Devil Woman because she's killed any of the regime's officials that get on her nerves. She's killed hundreds by firing squad, put many in prison, and has tortured others.
How long has that been going on?
China?
Probably a long time. That's North Korea.
North Korea.
That's the little rocket man sister.
Okay.
China shows off its military might. They dropped thousands of bombs in a mammoth exercise. They've been testing their bombs. They're showing off their military power. They built several bases on some of their island atolls. And according to China State Broadcaster, aircraft assigned to South Sea Fleet released thousands of munitions during the May 14th and 15th drills. Pilots trained in precision strikes and saturation attacks as warplanes dropped bombs, anti-ship rockets, and autocannon fire at floating targets in the sea. So they can blow something out of the water. Okay, are we impressed? Yeah, pretty much.
If they would decide to hit Washington D.C., we would have no defense against them.
Probably not.
Not till after it hit.
Yeah.
What, less than 4 minutes, they said? And the ones that got up in 9/11, the fighter jets that got up, none of them was armed.
Wow. What good did that do?
Most of them come out of Virginia down
They're going to end visits to the Temple Mount. Mahmoud Abbas, the head of Palestinian Authority, wants to end visits to the Jewish temple if the ceasefire must include ending visits to the Jewish visits to the Temple Mount. Jews can't go to the Temple Mount anymore. You know how that's going to go over. We have Gaza reconstruction would undermine Hamas. Our Secretary of State Blinken wants to provide reconstruction and relief for the people of Gaza. We're not empowering Hamas. We just want to show compassion to the people of Gaza. It's just, and the anti-Semitism against Israel continues. A recent university, I forget who they were, voted to send money for Palestinian relief, and in their document they said to help them to destroy Israel. One of our state-supported universities with a group that sent money to destroy Israel in their document. So this is getting, anti-Semitism is part of the last days. Praise God, he's getting ready to come soon because these things are increasing by the day. And anti-Semitism is on the rise, people, around the world, the hatred of the Jews. And why do they hate the Jews? Ask a person on the street, why do you hate the Jews? Well, they're behind everything. Yeah, what are they behind? Name one thing. Well, medicines and Nobel Peace Prize winners. Yes, that's why they hate them. They wrote the Bible. Jesus Christ was a Jew. It's a satanic, supernatural hatred of Israel. And speaking of satanic, I'm so excited. They're going to release all the data about UFOs, and I think we're going to be, after reading some things about it, I think we're going to be sorely disappointed. They don't have as much stuff as we think they have. And no, they're not.
Those
Tic Tacs.
drums. They got little bitty drums that all collect together and make a big thing.
I'm not so mythology, but a Canadian astronaut said, if you believe these, all these.
Why laughing at me?
I was waiting for more. Is that all you got? Was that it?
Well, you get all these little bitty drums together and get it looks like a big, UFO.
That's awesome. That's some precision flying right there, I'll tell
Well,
you.
they do.
Okay. Sounds good. It's as good as anything else, I'd say.
One of the Canadian astronauts said, I didn't know Canada had an astronaut.
I didn't either.
Must be in the United States.
Hey, what?
He said, if you believe aliens are come to the United States, or come to the world, from other planets, he said, you're a moron.
Well,
And that's about the truth.
That's true.
He said, this is,
I heard
he said this is, he said he thinks it's supposed to be technology, just to inspire. He said he grown everything, you know, make it look like stuff that's not there.
Yeah.
A lot of it's put on. He said keep people scared. He said China and Russia too is really invested into, you know, stuff to make it look like that. And he said they would, you know, everything to scare the people. That's how you do. You scare the people to divide and conquer.
Yep.
How'd they get these cameras up there on Mars to film the landing of the American satellite and China satellite? You see on TV where it showed them filming as they touched down and stuff.
Mhm.
They had to get the camera there first before they could film it. Right?
CNN was there. Cuomo was there. Cuomo's brother.
Time said that they did something, and it's like, how'd they do that? Because usually all you see is, that's it. You don't see them, because they can't.
They landed the camera first years ago, and it's been there waiting.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever seen, did you ever watch one of those, what do you call it? Where they was talking about filming the Ten Commandments?
Mhm.
Did you ever watch
Documentary?
how they did the water and all that?
Mhm. Yeah.
So they took these great big drums and dumped the water and filmed it. Then they took the film and run it backwards in the movie. And
Oh.
showed the water rolling back up.
Oh, cool.
And, I
They've
mean,
got ways of doing
yeah, it's amazing now what they've got. Do you ever take like your watch in the sunshine? You could put different emblems on the wall there, and you could, just like that, boom. And a hologram, I don't know exactly how those things work, but I've seen some of the effects of them. And two, now they've got, we watched that one on YouTube about that guy flying this jet.
That was a game.
No, we had control.
Yeah.
Yeah, an F-18 jet that was probably as long as a table and a half, or maybe 2 tables. And I told Sharon, I said, that's how they film these movies where they're dogfighting the planes.
He was doing it with this. When you
Oh,
see it
yeah.
out there, it just looked like a.
Looked like an F-18, except for the dual engines on the back, it don't have a seat.
Even when he took off with it, the fire was coming out the back, just like the big.
Oh,
Then you had smoke bombs on the wings.
oh, you can
It's,
deceive people. That's one of the signs of the last days is deception.
yeah, our nephew that worked at Ford, he's got a drone, and we was up there a couple, 3 years ago, and he was showing us pictures on his phone. He goes up from his house, and he lives a mile west of the circle where the Litchfield Township is. And he could film that from 50 to 75 foot above his house. He could film out there a mile, and it looked like he was right there.
Hmm.
And I asked, I said, what will one of them cost? He said, well, if you want a good one like I got, he said, they're about $850.
That ain't bad, really. If you want a good.
But now, you wouldn't believe it, got them.
Oh, I know. They'll be fighting. Well, the terrorists will be using them if they aren't already.
The inmates are running the country. Now that's what it is.
Did you see those 2 guys those 2 officers that let old Epstein kill himself? Did you see they're not gonna charge them?
Yeah.
They made a deal. I think it was a black woman and a black man, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, somebody killed him. I mean, they know, and who knows what happened. But we know he was killed because he knew too much on people that he's not supposed to know stuff on and say stuff about. So he was killed in prison. I'm just surprised Giselle, his girlfriend, has made it this long.
But that happened, you said anything about her lately. I bet she'll get.
her under, well, they've got her in custody, but then nobody knows where she's at.
When they find out what she knows, they'll dispose of her. But the things going on that the most technical mystery thriller you could ever watch doesn't compare to reality. I mean, reality is better than any movie you could ever see.
Wait till the Lord puts his stuff on this earth. They'll
Oh, yeah.
think they're gonna see a lot of flying saucers from that.
Yeah. Well, I think some of the things, I think we're going to be disappointed in what's coming forth. Nobody's going to have a body or an extraterrestrial body. It's possible, but people already believe in it, so we're not even worried about it.
What do they have at, down
You
in,
better speak up. What?
down in,
You've never held your hand up before.
Arizona? I'm sorry.
She's got a pen, so she wants me to. What does she want me to do?
Area 51.
Yeah.
What do they got there?
Nothing.
They say, I know a guy that worked in the military at Area 51 who says they have a body there, an alien body. And he was a Baptist preacher. And he said, Jack, don't worry about it.
it.
Can't believe a word a Baptist preacher says. What, Sharon?
Gil was reading something or had it on there or something on his thing. He says it's cracked. Anyway, he made a good point. He said, if aliens, if we live out of space, in outer space, we die quicker because our bones deteriorate because we don't have the gravity. Makes sense. So these aliens, they're just people without bones.
We
They're just little
Yeah.
green
everything
things.
they expect on aliens looks something like us.
Yeah.
2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, and stuff like that. Like one guy said, why do you think they look anything like us? They come from space, they read the laws, probably. And then the bone
The
probably
blob. The blob.
The blob.
The blob.
Did you ever watch that movie Star Wars?
Yeah.
All of those images, how they talk, walk, do all that kind of stuff. That tells you enough right there.
They can.
bones give us structure by gravity. That help us hold stuff in gravity. If you don't have gravity, you have no bones. They proved that when you go out to space, they do all the bone structure to your head.
Yeah. But let me tell you this, then we'll move on. There's no such thing as intergalactic travel because there's no, like Kelly says, you couldn't survive it, and no other creatures could too. Why would they come here and be quiet? If you made it this far, you'd say, "Shoo, here we are. We made it now. Hello." You're not going to hide. Let's hide. For 47 years or 70 years since 1947, or longer than that. Now they say 1942, the Foo Fighters. Have you heard of the Foo Fighters? Not the rock band. Foo Fighters are what they called these little spaceships that would follow the Air Force as they fought missions over Europe. Foo Fighters and Japan islands. Foo Fighters would follow them. That's what they called them. Little unknown spacecraft. And they were just like they described, the tic-tac-like things, and they could dart in and out and disappear. What they are, if they are real, they're interdimensional spiritual beings that are masquerading to deceive us. And when they come out and say, after the church is raptured, and they come out and say, we're actually the seed of mankind, here is your leader, the Antichrist, he'll have all your answers. Listen, I'm doing a study right now of all the angels at the end time, all the angels that are being unleashed at the end times, 31 in the book of Revelation, and more besides. Angels are coming to take part in the end times. They're a major player. And demons and false angels, lying angels, demons, fallen angels are a big part of it too. So expect that to increase, because they're a big part of they appeared at creation. They appeared when Israel came on the scene. Angels have always been looking out for Israel. Israel was dispersed for 1,870 years, and now the angels have come back since Israel's a nation again, and they're coming back with a vengeance. That's when we started seeing UFOs again in 1940s when Israel became a nation in 1948. 1947 was Roswell. So I think angels are back to deceive us.
Well, in
Angels
Psalms,
to deceive us or demons to deceive
Fallen angels,
us? I'm following.
demons will deceive us.
in Psalms, God said he sent sending evil angels among them.
Amen.
Well, you know, if God's angels are here on earth, Satan's angels are definitely here.
There's a war. There's a war brewing. It's going to happen. A war in heaven happens in the book of Revelation, where Michael finally kicks Satan and his angels out of heaven for good. See, he has access right now, but soon he's going to be kicked out for good and can't come back to heaven. So that's a big war that's coming, and they're all it's a war, and that's why these aliens, so-called spacecraft, always hang out around military bases, because they're war and they're looking to have an advantage in a war. So it's going to be a war, and they are mounting their troops. So
So the war in heaven, there is a war in heaven between the angels and demons.
yeah,
It says that Michael fought with his angels. And Satan, Michael is the chief angel.
chief angel and the protector of Israel, isn't he?
Gabriel was the messenger and Michael was the warrior. He's the archangel.
Yeah, I've heard of those names, but I didn't realize that there was gonna be a war in heaven.
Well, just stop and look. Now, when Gabriel came to bring Daniel the message, the answer to his prayer and stuff as they talked with him, it said the Prince of Persia, which Satan represented as the Prince of Persia, withstood 21 days for the exact 3 weeks, and Michael had to come from heaven to help him to get through.
Revelation 12:7. Revelation 12:7. War in heaven. It's the future war. Because Satan has not been cast out of heaven yet. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. The dragon is Satan. And the dragon fought and his angels. See, there you go. And prevailed not. Verse 8. Neither was there place found any more in heaven. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him to the earth. That's bad news for the earth, because they're coming to earth with a vengeance to keep God through Jesus Christ from reigning upon the earth and over his people Israel.
For it also tells you that Satan has a great wrath.
Great wrath, for he knows his time is short. Because he can read the Bible. Satan knows the Bible. Do what, Maggie?
He knows the Bible better than we
That's
do.
right. So he is mustering his forces.
And he comes to try to destroy Israel.
Yep. Because he does not want Jesus Christ to rule and reign over anybody that lives there. No Jews. He wants to annihilate the Jews. Okay, so very interesting. That's why angels are really in the picture in the last days. And that's why they're all coming out. And that's why I believe we're having this deception about UFOs. It's going to be disappointing in the fact that some people expect us to have all the answers to life. But they know the answer to life is Jesus Christ, created everything and holds it together. So they're going to just continue to deceive, give you a little information here, but just like unlike Kelly, just because somebody, Air Force pilot, sees a tic-tac that can dart in and out, doesn't mean anything. I mean, if that's all they've got Now, one pilot did say something interesting recently. She said that almost every day they go out, they see a UFO. But that could be a lot of things. She didn't say they were tic-tacs or space aliens. She just said we see UFOs almost every time we go out. And that would probably be true, wouldn't it? If you go out in the flying in these jets at 1,000 miles an hour or 2,000 miles an hour, Mach 2, you're going to see some strange sights.
Well, couldn't it be it's two tax you told me? Couldn't it be like how a rainbow, we see a rainbow because of the sun and everything? Couldn't it be like a reflection?
Yeah, some of them could be. Some of them could be like Irvin said, somebody's picturing a holograph up in the sky. I mean, that technology's here. Laser pointers can deceive people. They can blind a pilot. Up in the 5,000 feet in the air, they can blind a pilot.
Yeah, just take a large coffee cup, cut the bottom holes in the bottom of it, stuff, put a glass in there, and you can make all kind of images.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of that we see in the hills might be somebody pulling tricks. But you can't really explain a tic-tac over the ocean that goes into the ocean. They see it go in the ocean. They say submarines are going to report in this thing that they've seen, they have on radar or sonar craft going over 200 miles an hour underwater and darting up and down and going out. So that'll be in the report. Huh? Yeah, that's a very fast whale. That's whales mating. But who knows? But there are going to be some interesting things. But I think it's going to fall. It's going to be just enough to keep people saying, well, the Bible can't be true if I knew we came from another galaxy. We're such science fiction fans, and I like science fiction. I think it's very interesting. But I don't believe a word of it. I don't believe we'll ever get to warp 1, 2, 3, or 4. Trump got us on warp speed for the vaccines.
And you get credit for it.
I don't know about Trump. I'm telling you, I liked it. I think he did great things as a president, but I don't know if
I ain't done though.
I think he's done. But I think we got a lot better candidates. Ron DeSantis of Florida,
Oh, yeah.
some other guy.
He should stay in Florida because they'll mess Florida up.
They need him in Florida.
Yes, they do.
Even though he is for the vaccines and he is for gambling to expand in Florida, he said we've got to expand gambling, which is not good. But
Nobody's perfect.
My brother.
who said that? Who said nobody's perfect? Maggie?
Yeah.
That's good. That's right. Nobody's perfect.
He runs, he needs to pick can of soil disease. Last spring.
There you go.
I hope. I
You
like
think of those
her,
creatures that's
but
going
I
to be
think
let out of the
that's
bottom
why-
of this pit?
I think we need
She
to-
would, she would.
Yeah.
Some lights over.
That is,
She's a,
And what they look
I
like.
like her.
yeah.
But I just don't think we need another black. They're running everything in the big cities now, and look at them. They don't know what they're doing.
It's gotta come.
Let's move on to.
Yes, please. Let's do.
Now, Rick will cover all of Revelation in his Sunday school class. Maybe we might get to. It's going to take us a long time to get through Revelation. But the book of Revelation, as Irvin was talking about, those creatures that come out of the sea, or out of the bottomless pit. There's a creature that comes out of the sea also. A lot of interesting things and creatures and funny sights, not funny, scary sights in the book of Revelation. And those creatures out of the pit they are fascinating. But when we have more time, maybe next week we can look at that. But I'm just skipping through the book of Revelation and some of the things, all the angels. I mean, it's beasts and angels and creatures. It's just full of that, and war and battles. I mean, it's incredible the things going on in the book of Revelation. And the more I think we conditioned ourselves with science fiction and creature movies that I think Satan is conditioning us to be ready for these things and expect them. Or the Lord, actually more the Lord is conditioning us to be ready that these things are real. You know, some of the toys, you go into a toy store, go to the toy section at Walmart and look at the creatures they have.
Yes.
They remind me of these creatures from the bottomless pit. So, cartoons are awful.
The creatures from the bottomless pit, they're not allowed to kill, they're only to torment for
Torment
5 months.
and sting.
150 days.
They are, who knows what they are, but it's interesting. Anyway, you ought to read the book of Revelation every month because it's not, don't take you long to read it, actually. Doesn't take long at all. Probably a week. Well, actually, you could read it one night. When I get a book, somebody gives me a book to read, and I finally will read it. It takes me about an evening. I can read a book, and I just get into it and read it until I'm done. I think that's the way you're supposed to read books. I hardly ever take a break. I wish we'd read the Bible that way.
I used to be like that.
Okay, that ends our prophecy update.